Let's take a look at the say, mean, matter strategy. This strategy helps you question the text and search for deeper meaning. First, we have the say column. This is a summary of what the text says. What does the text say? What happened? Make sure to cite text or paraphrase. Remember, higher level responses cite direct quotes and paraphrase. Next, we have the mean column. This is about your interpretation of the text. What does it mean when the author is talking about that subject? How do you know that? What makes you think that? Remember, no personal pronouns. So we want to avoid sentence starters such as, I know this because. Avoid personal pronouns at all costs. Next, we have the matter column. This column is about the implications or possible outcomes or results of the text, study, passage, or article. How would this change our society or world? What effect would it have on the human condition? Questions to think about as you're completing this column. Why does it matter to me or others? Why is it important? What is the significance? What questions does this piece raise? Remember, you should have more for the matter section, roughly 1 to 3 pieces of matter for each citation in the say column. This is all about deep analysis. It's not enough to be surface level anymore. Always reference your sentence starters and avoid those training wheels sentence starters. You can find those on your say, mean, matter sentence starters. The training wheels starters are labeled for you. Make sure to avoid those. Let's look at the lost city of Roanoke. What I've done is I've used Cami and I've highlighted and annotated important things and elaborated so that I knew what I needed to remember. I've color coded them, I asked myself some questions, and I even defined certain words that maybe I didn't know before. Now I'm going to use my Say Mean Matter graphic organizer. The first thing I'm going to do is type in my title and my author. Then I want to make sure I use a bulleted list or a numbered list to keep track of my evidence and then what it means and matters. It helps for readability. So I'm going to look and I'm going to use my very first piece of evidence. I'm going to hover over and I'm going to click copy. And I'm going to paste right here. So I've pasted pieces of broken crockery recently unearthed in a North Carolina field belonged to survivors of the ill-fated Lost Colony, the first English settlement in the Americas. Now I need to move to my mean column. So what does this mean? This indicates that the new evidence found could solve the mystery of what happened. How do I know that? Well, this indicates that the pottery found in North Carolina belonged to the settlers. Why does this matter? This reminds the reader that experts do not know what happened to the village in Roanoke. This quote is noteworthy because this new discovery could explain the strange disappearance of the villagers and where they went. And you can see that I have added a few more pieces of evidence in my say column, and I'm ready to tackle the next piece for mean and matter. For my next piece of evidence, I have number and variety of artifacts recovered provide compelling evidence that the site was inhabited by several settlers from Sir Walter Raleigh's vanished 1587 colony, said archaeologist Nick Lucchetti, the team's leader. So now I have to go back to my passage and check my annotations to see what this little citation means. So I go back and I see evidence suggests many other settlements have lived where the colony disappeared. Okay, so I need to look for a sentence starter. So I go to the mean. I can see that maybe this quote is reinforcing the idea of. I'm going to change of to that. that evidence suggests many other settlements have lived where the colony disappeared. I can go back to my passage and see things like that. I have another annotation. Maybe I want to add this for my next mean, where it says the artifacts that were recovered but were not listed. And then a question to ask myself, maybe it might be answered later on in the passage. Was it just pottery? What type of artifacts were listed? Then I have to go to my matter column. And for my matter column, I want to know, how would this change our society or world? And what effect would it have on the human condition? So I've gathered a few thoughts, and I'm going to paste those in there because I like to sometimes work other things. I have an examination of this quote reveals that artifacts were recovered, and this discovery could lead to more findings and more artifacts. And if artifacts are located, this could explain what happened to the settlers and where they went, because I see that they have disappeared, and the evidence suggests other settlements have lived there. So I want to add one more. And I want to look at my sentence starters for matter. This emphasizes, maybe, this is noteworthy because, that sounds better. But this is noteworthy because perhaps it wasn't just one group that inhabited that area, and possibly other settlements from other voyages or Native Americans could have lived in that area. That's how I go through my process to examine the mean and the matter. And if you look, I now have one piece for mean and 3 for matter. So I want that deep analysis.